You're listening to Gamedaytarps podcast, coast to coast, with your hosts, Ryley, Dakota, Dallas, Daeden, and Wilbs.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gamedaytarps podcast. This is episode 45. I'm Daeden. I got Ryley, Wilbs, and Dallas along with me. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about some Four Nations Faceoff. All the rosters were released the other day. We're going to see who was snubbed, talk about the biggest surprise, talk about Canada's roster, how it faces up against the other rosters. We got the Canadian World Junior roster. The selection camp roster was released the other day as well. And we're also going to be talking about a little bit of news that happened a few hours ago. Yeah. Over in the Big Apple. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's talk about Four Nations here, gentlemen. Why don't we start with the home country team, Canada, obviously, which maybe has the most snubs just due to the fact that they have the largest pool to pick from. Let's just break it down they did it alphabetically here. Bennett, Sorelli, Crosby, Hagel, Jarvis, Konechny, McKinnon, Marchand, Marner, McDavid, Point, Reinhart, and Stone. Let's just talk about the forwards to start. Who's your surprises? Who's your snubs? Let's go through it here.
I got two on my mind for the forward group. Mark Scheifele, I think he has been incredible this year. I think that was my biggest snub in my opinion. And also Nick Suzuki was kind of a surprise too. I think he's a good player and dynamic and rightfully so. So those are my two.
You know what? Actually, just on Suzuki, not sure if this is true. No idea. But talking to Dakota today, apparently Nick Suzuki rejected the invitation. Apparently. And Hockey Canada is not very happy with him right now because he turned down the opportunity to play. Don't know what that means. Don't know if that's true. That would be weird. I can't see someone rejecting the opportunity to play. I don't know why they would. But that was just read about.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw an article about it. Apparently, I think it was World Championships in the summer. I think he turned that down, and Hockey Canada wasn't happy with him. So, I think that was it. I'm not too certain on it, but I feel like it's fun to represent your country. So it's kind of a surprise. We don't know what the whole spill is with it, but it's interesting to see what transpires. But like I said, those are my two biggest ones for forward. But other than that, I think the group's pretty solid.
Seth Jarvis, honestly, is my biggest surprise. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super happy for him right now. This will be his first time representing Canada on the big stage. He worked his ass off ever since getting snubbed of the World Junior Championship back in the day. And now he's just been grinding with the Canes. And now look at him. He's going to be at the Four Nations face-offs with Canada. So kudos to him. Now, another big shock was Sam Montembeault. But again, I'm really happy about this pick. But I would have liked to have him on the roster rather than Jordan Binnington. And anyone out there listening knows our thoughts on Jordan Binnington. But he himself was actually also added, so yikes. But I would have taken Logan Thompson, boys. What are your thoughts on that as a Canadian netminder? Why was Logan Thompson not in the conversation?
Just before we get to that, people say Montembeault, they're surprised with Montembeault. This isn't me being a biased Habs fan or anything, but the tournament is in Montreal. Yep. One of the host cities is Montreal. He plays for the Habs. He has the best save percentage out of the three goaltenders that are on the roster. And you look at last year, he won a gold medal with Team Canada at the World Championships. He was the starting goalie for that tournament. So, he's got the pedigree. He's played for Canada before. And I feel like it honestly isn't that big of a surprise considering his name's been in the mix for maybe 4 or 5 months. But I do see where people are coming from, seeing we could have had a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury or even a younger guy like Stuart Skinner in the net instead of him.
Honestly, my three, I love. You guys know I want Hill to be the starter. I've wanted Hill to be just the starter since day one. 6'6", steady Eddie goalie, right? Going up against Austin Matthews, who can pick the corners. Just having a guy who's taller, no brainer. I think I would have loved to see Marc-Andre Fleury in his final season. Just make him the third goalie. He's not going to play a game, but let him be on the team. Like, let him be the longest tenured Canadian player or whatever it would be. He's been playing for them for a long time. Ditch Binnington, and I don't mind Montembeault. I don't mind Montembeault at all. I would say Montembeault or Logan Thompson would be my two that I choose from. But I'm happy with Hill. Binnington again. Like, I just can't see you putting Matthew and Brady Tkachuk planting right in front of him and him not getting frustrated versus the Americans. So don't play him versus the Americans. That's all I have to say. Play him versus Sweden, who doesn't go to the net. But actually, I want to go back to, Dally, what you noted about Jarvis being cut from the 2021 World Junior team. He's the only guy from that year, so the 2021 World Juniors. The entire rest of the 25-man roster that played on that team not even one guy made this team. Not one. And he made the team, and he was a cut from that. So we're looking at these guys that are cut. We'll get into it from the World Junior team, right? Like, they all have a chance to be the best from that team, and they might not even play for them, right? So, but again, we'll get into it, I guess, in a minute. I mean, for me, not a surprise. I think that John Cooper, being the coach of Canada, had a very heavy influence. And if we're being honest, Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel might be having some of the best seasons in the NHL as two-way forwards. And this whole tournament seems to have gone with NHL roster, not just like all-stars, right? Like, if you go to the Olympics, you're taking 4 straight lines of the best players in the league. But even if you look at the USA, they took some grinders on their fourth line, so I think having Hagel, having Cirelli, two guys with absolute pace. Cirelli just finished up like a 6-game scoring streak where he scored 7 goals. Hagel's on pace for 106 points. Cirelli's almost like a 60% faceoff winner, and obviously Cirelli's won 2 cups, and so is Braden Point. So I just think those are good picks, and Cooper just, flexing his "this is my team" muscle, I think, a little bit there. But other than that, my biggest surprise, honestly, probably Travis Konechny.
Really?
Like, don't get me wrong, he's good. He's a great player. I love Konechny. I'd take him on any team in a heartbeat. But like Wilbs noted, like, Mark Scheifele's not on this team. Travis Konechny or Mark Scheifele, I'm taking Mark Scheifele.
He is literally Canada's Brady Tkachuk. Like, he gets in your face. He's a grinder.
Yep.
So I think
He's
that was
small.
a great choice of having Konechny. But his teammate, though, Travis Sanheim. Now, I texted you boys, like, who the hell had Travis Sanheim on their bingo card for players being selected for the Four Nations face-off? Like, that was just a whim. Just absolutely out of left field. So what are your guys' take on Travis? Do you think he deserves to be there, or is there like a likely substitute that you'd rather see John Cooper and the boys pick?
I think it's a good pick. The guy's 6'6". He has a heavy shot, and he's a left-handed defenseman, so he fits into that left side. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good pick in my opinion.
Yeah, because what do they have? 4 right-handers, right? They have Makar, Parayko, Pietrangelo, maybe only 3. And then they have 4 left-handers: Morrissey, Theodore, Tays, and Sanheim. So I could see, like, Theodore and Sanheim, they're obviously fighting for who's 6 and who's 7, I think. I think Makar and Tays are your first pair. We just noted they only have 3 right-handers. So Pietrangelo and Morrissey probably are pair 2. Parayko is right D on pair 3. It's between Theodore and Sanheim for who's getting that 6th spot, I think.
I think they play Theodore and Pietrangelo together because they play together in so they're gonna have the 2 pairs, and then the 2 pairs first, like Taves and Makar, and then Pietrangelo, Theodore, and then Sanheim and Morrissey. True. Because they work well together too. Morrissey's more of an offensive guy. Sanheim's more of a stay-at-home guy. So I think it'll pair well. Canada's actually got an underrated defensive core compared to some of the other guys, or other teams, I should say.
I mean, having Kale Makar is going to help no matter what.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's just steady. It's 6 other steady defensemen, and Pietrangelo, who's arguably one of the best players, of the last 10 years at defense. So,
well, I would almost argue with you and say, instead of Travis Sanheim, like, was Brendan Montour or Aaron Ekblad in the conversations for that third line pairing for Canada. So I would honestly argue they should be in the conversation for sure.
Montour has been playing fantastic this year, but yes, he helped Florida finally win a cup, but years upon years before that, Anaheim, Buffalo, Florida, like he is very much notably a defensive liability a lot of the time.
Chris Letang
He's
even
wicked skilled. I don't
Chris
think you want
Letang?
Letang. I don't think you want Letang.
We're not
No.
trying to friggin' put together an old timers team here. We're trying to win a hockey tournament.
But you made the
Exactly.
argument with Fleury, one last hurrah. And this could potentially be
Okay.
Letang's last hurrah.
He's
Yeah.
not gonna touch the
But
ice.
Fleury would be in the rafters watching the game, not even on the bench backing anyone up.
But he
So-
just said throw him in for the Finland game. What do you mean?
No, I said throw Binnington in versus Sweden because he can't handle the U.S. I didn't say anything about Fleury. Fleury can sit in the press box 4 out of 4 games. But hey,
Oh, wow.
when they win, give them that medal.
What, 5 and 5 because they're probably playing 3.
I heard it was only 3 round robin games in a final.
Really?
Yeah,
No semi?
that's what I heard.
That's stupid.
That's I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
That's what happens when you snub all these other nations and only have 4 coming into the tournament, right? So
Yeah, and honestly, like I know Russia's not allowed to, but let's just talk about how Russia would wash. Russia would dominate. They would show up with 4 goaltenders. They'd be like, yeah, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Bobrovsky, Sorokin, you're all on the team. All of you're all playing. And then their freaking first line would have Panarin and Kucherov on it. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, right, Ovi. Like,
dude, they would have a
It'd be
stacked
unreal.
roster.
It would be nuts.
their defense would probably be their biggest weak point, but their offense would be crazy. Let's go to U.S. though. Boldy, Kyle Connor, Eichel, Gensel, Hughes, Kreider, Larkin, Matthews, Miller, Nelson, Kachuk, Trocheck is the forward group. My real question is, if JT Miller doesn't come back to the Canucks by this point but plays for USA, that tells you he doesn't want to be a Canuck anymore.
Well, we've said it before. He has some anger management problems, and maybe he's butting heads with the coach. Maybe he's butting heads with some of the players. And I did hear a rumor out there that him and Pettersson have been butting heads. So maybe that's been the issue. Who's to say if that's factual though?
Wasn't there like a thing in Vancouver when like they chose between Bo and JT Miller, or was that different players? I think it was JT and Bo. Like before Bo Horvat decided to go to Long Island, like that whole spill. Like it was those 2 players, right? Like they were.
They traded Bo Horvat out.
Yeah, but
They had to choose between the 3 of them. It was Pettersson, Miller, and Horvat because they're cap space and who was going to go. So they chose Horvat.
Still one of the worst trades ever.
It's crazy.
Well, Horvat's been pretty bad since he went to New York. But
well,
Yeah,
Beauvillier's already
he hasn't
jumped
been
2
like he
different
was
teams
in
too.
Vancouver.
yeah, but they did it for the cap dump more so than what we'll get into with the Rangers today. Sometimes the cap is more important. But let's talk Matt, I watched the Minnesota Wild tonight. Matt Boldy is looking so sick. I'm not disappointed at all that he's on this USA team. To see a first line, and it better be a first line, of Austin Matthews between Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, that line is going to be wicked.
Yep.
You're just going to have Matthew Tkachuk chasing pucks in the corner, feeding Matthews in the slot, while Brady Tkachuk's just screening goaltenders. It's going to be absolute mayhem, which is why Binnington cannot be in net for this game.
Well, you want to speak of goalies, Rye? I mean, Ottinger, Hellebuyck, Swayman. Like we've said it before, that they have the best goalie tandem in this tournament. But I think, personally, USA has the complete lineup running forward, defense, and goalies throughout this entire tournament. Like, they are going to wash, I think, the other 3 nations. That's my take.
Yeah, their D are so good. Faber, Fox, Hannafin, Hughes, McAvoy, Slavin, Werenski. Like, just crazy.
Jeez. That's wagon right there. That's wagged.
Yeah, they usually have the best all-around team.
Yep. And I've seen a lot of people like saying that Caulfield was a snub, and I think it's just like Caulfield's been doing very, very good, but like, look at the freaking roster. It's so like I don't know, like where would you fit Caulfield in? Like
Where
who would you
Vincent Trocheck is.
No,
Trust me.
Or Brock
Trust
Nelson.
me.
no. Keep Vincent Trocheck. Brock Nelson being on this team is a
Yeah.
travesty.
Okay,
Brock
that's
Nelson
also
being on
fair.
this team
That's
is
fair.
an absolute
That's fair.
travesty. Because here's
Because
what you can do.
I think that if you put Cole Caulfield with the players that are on this team, he would do many better things than Brock Nelson would.
I think a
I
line
agree.
of Kyle
agree.
Connor, Jack Hughes, and Cole Caulfield would have went crazy.
Yeah.
Because you know what? In my first line, dreams or whatever, they're fun. But like realistically, you put Brady Tkachuk in the bottom six, that guy's wreaking havoc. You do a line of like Brady Tkachuk with Vincent Trocheck and Chris Kreider, that's just a crazy line.
Yep.
Right? Or even JT Miller centering that line. Like Dylan Larkin to me is the fourth line center here, in my opinion. Well, they still have Jack Eichel too. Like this team is so stacked. But yeah, I would take Caulfield rather than Nelson.
Yeah. I was surprised not seeing him in the lineup. He's been lining it up. I was just trying to think like, oh, where is he gonna fit with like the staff lineup? But yeah, like Caulfield, I think he's had a stellar season to prove enough that he deserves to be on Team USA for sure.
Let's talk Finland. Sebastian Aho, Joel Armia, Alexander Barkov, Mikhail Granlund, Halla, Hintz, Kako, Laine, Lehkonen, Lundell, Luosterainen, Rantanen, and Teravainen are the forwards. I mean, that's pretty much every good Finn in the NHL. There's not much else to choose from for these guys.
Yep.
As like bottom six as this roster is, I like it. I like the roster. I like Finland. I like Finland when they play internationally. They're usually an underdog, but they always play well. They're tenacious and they move the puck quick, and they have guys that can be sneaky. Laine, Lehkonen, both former Habs. Rantanen, he's pretty good, but I mean, they can all be sneakily good as well.
Well, this has a big part of like that Finnish World Junior team that was so crazy, right? They have Laine, they have Kako, and they have Heiskanen, right? It was those three, wasn't it, that were all on that team? And I think Lundell too. Even I think
Lundell's way younger.
he was drafted.
Are you talking about the 2016 Finland
Yeah,
team with World
in
Junior?
Helsinki, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Lundell's too young. He was drafted 2020.
They're missing
Puljujärvi
Puljujärvi, yeah. That kid.
and Kapanen, Kasperi Kapanen. He was on that team
Yeah.
as well. He scored.
Oh yeah, sorry,
goal.
I'm mixing up Kako and Puljujärvi. That's what
Yeah.
I'm mixing up. Because Capo Kako was younger too. But still, Finland's always fun. Their defense are steady. Hakanpää, Lindell, Heiskanen, Mata, Mikkola, Ristolainen, and Välimäki. Like it starts to get weak near the end of that list, starting at really Olli Mata, Mikkola, Ristolainen, and Välimäki. Like those are basically all 7th D or guys who have been sent to the minors in the last 3 years. So little iffy there, but Heiskanen is one of the best in the league. Hakanpää can hold his own, and Lindell is obviously really good with Heiskanen. So,
yeah.
All right, on to Sweden. Victor Arvidsson, Jesper Bratt, Leo Carlsson, Eriksson Ek, Forsberg, William Karlsson, Kempe, Elias Lindholm, William Nylander, Nyquist, Elias Pettersson, Raymond, and Zibanejad as the forwards. Again, basically just who they had to choose from. They didn't have much better options, but this team is dangerous. Like,
I had people at school saying that Erik Karlsson should not be on this team.
I agree.
Why? What? Really? You agree?
Yeah, dude.
Makes sense.
He has been absolute garbage the last 2 years.
Who would you replace him with? You could lower
anyone.
You could lower his anyone. What do you mean? But who? Like, who's a Swedish defenseman that can move the puck and skate better than Erik Karlsson? Yeah, that's true. But isn't he already on the team?
So Okay, but who is he even going to play? You have Hedman probably playing with either Forsling or Anderson.
Okay, who did I have?
You have Daeden probably playing with the other one, either Anderson or Forsling. You have Ekholm and Brodin playing together. Carlson's like 7th D here.
So then basically
I had
scratch.
Dahlin, Hedman, Carlson, Lindholm, Anderson. Oh, Hampus Lindholm. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
There you
Hampus
go.
Lindholm should be here over Erik Karlsson all day. But he's hurt, isn't he? I think that's why he's done for the year. That's why he's not here. So I bet you Hampus Lindholm is healthy today. Erik Karlsson's not on the Sweden team. He is so bad this year. Dally can attest to it. He is just.
It's sad. It's actually really sad.
He's not been good. Yeah.
Like I think the last few games I watched, like you can see him hustle to get back to his own end, just sticks his stick out and then just gives up. 2-on-1. See ya. Like there's no motivation to get that guy out there on the ice to be a team player and get back to prime time Erik Karlsson. Like it's just we all know that yes, he is getting older and like he's probably just nearing the end of his career, but at least you were traded to a potential contender. Now you'd think that you'd want to help, yourself and the likes of Sidney Crosby and Malkin, to achieve another cup. But for him, his first cup, but he's doing jack shit about it. Like he claims publicly that he is thrilled about his performance this year, but apparently there's people within the organization, even fans, who criticize, saying like that's terrible that you think that, because we all can see that you're not playing like Erik Karlsson out there. You're a totally different person. Like what's going on, right? So I hope that for the better things can change, or the Pens are gonna have to dump his contract somewhere. But who's gonna want to pick up the slack for that amount of money for very little performance? So yeah, it's been terrible. It's been terrible.
Here's what I see, because again we're getting to Trouba in a minute. I see the New York Rangers have an $8 million hole in their roster right now, and Sidney Crosby just happens to be $8.7 million. Move Kako, move Kreider, Sidney Crosby to New York Rangers.
He would never. He would never.
If Crosby moves, because if he moves, he's coming to Canada. He's going to Canada.
He won't go to.
The Rangers are actually so close to winning. They just need to shift a little bit.
Or Crosby might go to friggin' Colorado, for crying out loud, to go play with McKinnon. Who knows?
Colorado,
they have no cap. Name another winning team that has cap space. A top 10 team in the league that has cap space.
That's like asking the man to go play for the Philadelphia Flyers, dude. Like he will not go play for another team within his own division.
That's like asking an Islander.
That's
like asking Barzell.
Don't even mention that, bro.
Well, exactly. So he ain't ever going to the Rangers, boss.
He only plays for the Penguins. He doesn't. It's not that big of a rivalry between New York and Pittsburgh.
Buddy, even Biz Nasty is calling for Sid to go to the Avs to play with McKinnon. Obviously, they're going to have to move some shit around to be able to make that happen, hypothetically. But still, I think the hockey world would love to see that happen.
I would love to see it. I definitely would love to see it.
The Cole Harbor boys.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see it. I'm just saying a team that currently has cap space and could take him on, there's only one. That's a contender. And it's the New York Rangers. That's all I'm saying.
Buddy.
First have Patrick Kane, now Sidney Crosby now in the Madison Square Garden.
But Crosby compared to Kane, that is a huge, huge difference in skill level. And the contract size, that's different too. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's interesting. I guess we'll see.
I think it's unlikely, but it's
possible. Super unlikely. But they're looking for a big fish on the market. And all it takes is for Pittsburgh to keep going downhill and Crosby seeing no light at the end of the tunnel. I know he signed his contract extension and he's like, I'm committed to Pittsburgh. But if there's no light at the end of the tunnel and he's just looking at 4 years of misery, he might change his mind real quick.
Well, here's the beautiful thing, though. It's a 2-year, and I think after the first, it gets a modified no-trade So he might have like a 10, 15 team trade list that he could potentially go to. But
Yeah.
dude, I
Guess
think
we'll see.
for years I've been hearing like, before he retires, he wants to go play for his favorite team, which Daeden, of course, knows, the Montreal Canadiens. So it's another
Yeah, but
likely destination.
the Habs suck, man. Crosby's gonna go to a team that wins.
Then again, full circle, baby. Fucking Colorado. Send them on over, boys. Welcome with open arms. Let's go.
Yes, that makes more sense. It makes way more sense.
Do the hockey world a favor and let's make it happen, all right?
You know what? Fuck Colorado, though.
Shut the fuck up.
They won a cup in 2022. They're fine.
Yeah, you're
They don't
fucking
need
just
that.
mad. Fucking they beat your Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah,
Wah,
it's fine.
wah.
They won 2 cups back to back. They're fine.
Could have had 3 if it weren't for the Avalanche.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine. Fuck the Avalanche. Let's jump to Team Canada World Junior roster camp, at least. Goaltenders: Carson Bjarnason, Carter George, Jack Ivankovic, and
No, Ivan Kovic. Do not say. Do not.
sorry,
Don't let that
Ivan
slide.
Kovic. Ivan Kovic, whatever.
Ivankovic.
This one I have says Scott Ratzlaff. Is that? Did they invite
Ratzlaff's there.
They
Yep.
did
He
invite
should be the
Ratzlaff.
starter.
Yeah, they invited 4.
What? Ratzlaff?
Yeah.
No, Ratzlaff
No.
is not. No.
I have Ratzlaff
No.
going home. Dude, I have Ivankovic as a
For
starter.
the first game, no. Ivan Kovic
What?
17. Ivan Kovic 17. He should probably.
Doesn't
he should be
matter.
As good
The
as he.
hype-
No, as good as
There's
he's
the
no,
hype
playing.
there's
around
no
him.
way.
Carey Price
There's
started
no
at 17. If
Yeah,
he's
but-
that good, Carey Price started at 17. It doesn't matter who the heck's in front of you. If Ivankovic he's loved by all Hockey Canada coaches. He's revered as Hockey Canada's next goalie, just like Carey Price was. If he is, guaranteed he's going to get the net. And they're going to give him a very short leash. And if he can't handle it, game 1, they'll rip him out. But if he can,
Someone has to watch Carter George this season.
I think
I
Ratzlaff.
haven't. No, but
I think
Carter
Ratzlaff
George is-
makes it
Hear me
over
out.
Ivan Kovic.
Yeah,
Hear me
I
out.
think too. I think so too.
Joshua Ravensbergen should have been
Well, he
invited
didn't even-
over Scott Ratzlaff.
Ratzlaff
PG?
made the team last year.
Yeah, Ratzlaff made.
I
the
think
team
he was
last
an
year.
automatic
He wa-
lock.
Here's the thing, though. He was because he was on that dynamic, dominating Seattle Thunderbirds team. And they also helped him carry him to a great save percentage and goals against average. Now, he's on a shittier
But
Thunderbirds team.
wasn't he the backup to Thomas Milich for like 2
Yeah.
years anyway? So like,
yeah.
Well, they're like the
that's what we
Swayman and
understand.
Allmark, but now it's a different ball game
Always.
because there's no Milich, and it's just Ratzlaff, and Seattle's been plummeting. So I take like an
Right.
up and coming, superstar in Joshua Ravensbergen for a stacked Prince George team. So, and I think he's earned it, honestly. He was invited to the summer showcase in Windsor, Ontario, months ago. So
Yeah, I thought Ravensburger was going to get invited. I was
Exactly.
shocked to see I was shocked to see Jack Ivankovic's name. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's
No.
a stellar goaltender. I just didn't expect him to get invited.
I was not surprised. I'm even surprised Misa isn't there. This age group to 2025s are so talked about by Hockey Canada. They're so spotlighted. They're so heavily used. I thought for sure Misa was going to be on this team, and make the team, not just camp. I thought Ivankovic, however the heck, Ivankovic, whatever you want to call him. I thought he was going to be there. Schaefer, Martone, and who's the other guy? Who am I forgetting? The other
Parekh?
top pick. No, the other top pick.
Iginla?
Forward. No, the other forward. kid from this year.
Agila's out for the year, Dally.
Maybe it was just those guys. Maybe it's just those 4, not 5. But
Probably
those
not, 'cause
4
the
guys.
other one's a defenseman, Yakimchuk.
Yeah.
Yakimchuk should be there.
Yakimchuk definitely should be there. There's a
Sorry, but I've never
there's a
heard. I've never
there's a
heard of
couple.
Bo Akey before.
Akey's
okay.
nasty. Akey's nasty. You'll like him.
I
don't know if he's
looked
gonna.
up-
I don't
I
think
looked
he's
up
gonna
his
make
hi-
the team.
Looked up
But
his
he's nasty.
highlights. He's
good.
pretty good.
What do you think that they're going to do? So obviously now we know, here's the defense. Cameron Allen, Bo Akey, Oliver Bonk, Harrison Brunick, Sam Dickinson,
Well,
Andrew
Brunick-
Gibson, Tanner
Brunick's not playing
Mullenday.
anymore.
I know. I was going to go
Oh,
there.
okay. So my bad.
Sawyer Minio, Caden Price, and Schaefer. So like you said, Brunick has been injured. I don't even know why they invited him. He's missed like a month with the Blazers. Like there was just seemingly no chance he was going to play, but they invited him. Obviously, he can't go. Now they invite Perek. This is where I'm super interested to see if Perek makes this team. Like as a last minute addition, because here's the thing: if he makes a team and he's the team's best defender, he makes these guys look like absolute idiots.
Yep,
if he wasn't going to be on this
exactly.
team, so they
The thing,
either have to.
the thing with me about Perek is like he's a very good player, and like we've seen that he's had a couple of 5-minute suspensions or whatnot. Obviously, he could tune that game up. Obviously, every player gets to do that. And
Yep.
my concern is like IIHF rules international is far different from OHL. And that's what players have got to realize coming into the tournament because it's a whole lot different. You can't be having a guy during a game get a 5-minute and then a possible suspension, which will lose like it would be a loss. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think I'm happy that Zane Perek got invited because like maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he'll be a star-studded defenseman like he has been because he's unreal. Yeah, he was unreal last year and he's unreal this year. I just think if he stays disciplined like he does, he'll be a good fit for Team Canada 100%. It's just the 5-minute majors that he's been getting and the suspensions that have me worried because like IIHF is a whole lot different for these guys. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping he proves me wrong, and I think he will. I think he's a great addition. And now that he's getting invited, I think he makes the team.
I don't care how well Zane Perek plays, as long as Oliver Bonk is there. He's my RD1 for the whole 10 days.
Bonk is looking for revenge. Bonk is looking for revenge after last year.
Who else is? He's solid.
Bonk is
he's versatile.
He's right D3 locked. He's slow boots. He struggles with positioning a little bit. Like you have the guy now on right hand D. You have the guy who was the 10th overall pick or 9th overall pick, whatever he was this year, in Perek.
Yeah, and he can play your second. He can be on your second pair, and he can be the go guy.
Yeah, but you now have the chance to have Perek and Dickinson pair one,
or teammates Bonk and Dickinson pair one.
Yeah, Bonk and Dickinson would be sick too, but that's not in my lineup. But I definitely need to change.
Now they balance each other well, obviously, but I think if you just want to go dynamic, you go Perek and Dickinson right out the gates. What is like
both
team
offensive? They're both so offensive.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a tournament where Canada wins 10-0, 12-0, 15-0 in most games. Other than
you
US.
But you have an opening game against the Finns and a New Year's Eve game against the Americans. Yeah, the 2 games in between Latvia and Germany, you can score all you want, but those other 2, I'd rather have defense.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they're gonna switch the lineups like for each game.
Oh yeah, Hockey Canada never keeps these lines the same.
Nope.
Here's my list.
Maybe want a shutdown line? Like what about Bonk and Molendyk or Bonk and Minio as a shutdown line? Like just pure shutdown.
But Molendyk's all of these guys are offensive defensemen, pretty much. Like
he's more of a two-way. He's good offensively, but he's more of a two-way.
I think of Molendyk is more like
Minio's more of a defensive guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna reiterate the list, predictions list that I made last week for you boys again. Like, here's a couple defenders that I personally would have invited myself. Another top Western Hockey League defender that I would have brought in was Lukas Dragicevic. All right, he is leading the league in plus minus. He plays a really good defensive game, and he's been killing it for Prince Albert. All right, another guy in the queue, Etienne Morin. All right, I would have brought him on, and from the O, Henry Muse. Why weren't any of these guys mentioned? And let's not forget about Alexander Blas and Justin Carbonneau. Like, oh, and you mentioned too, Dave, like Justin Poirier. So the Q is once again getting snubbed with representation. Like, yes, you have Ethan Gauthier and
he's not going to make
Matthew Cataford, but
he's not going to be on this team.
I could see, for this year, I agree with Ryley. It's only going to be Cataford. It should only be Cataford. Gautier's smaller, and he's probably not what Canada is looking for. They have enough of Gautiers, and they're a little bit better. But the other guys,
Blas
who'd you mention?
and Carbonneau.
Okay, yeah. Blais and Carbonneau are both or at least Carbonneau 17, and he was just at the CHL showcase and the U17s. So I think he's pretty good where he's at. I don't think he needs to take that step yet. He'll probably be there in the next couple of years for an 18 or 19-year-old easily. Same with Blais, but I think the ones from the queue that are really missing out are Etienne Morin. That's really the only one, I think.
Now, you also mentioned to me about I wanted in my list to have Riley Mercer of the Drummondville Volunteers. Now, you said to me he was too old.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
his fifth year in the.
04s.
This is
Yeah,
his fifth year.
04s are too old. Yeah, but can we just appreciate the fact that like Team Canada is going to be loaded the next couple of years? You just think on younger guys that are going to be stepping into roles next year and years to come, like Caleb Desnoyers, Kayshawn Aitchison, Cameron Reed, Brady Martin, Jake O'Brien, Porter Martone, Gavin McKenna. The list goes on. Like I can name so many players that did not get invited. That like obviously there's still time for them to play in the World Juniors because some people are just like, oh, where are these guys? Well, they're still pretty young. Obviously, they're NHL draft prospects or whatever. But you want to invite the guys that are much older and then bring in some of the younger guys that are doing very, very good. Like, for example, Michael Misa would have been perfect to add on to this roster who didn't get a fight. Beckett Seneca. Like, I literally watched Beckett Seneca tonight. He had 3 fucking points. He has 14 points in 3 fucking games right now. The 2 games, like,
Yep.
he had 6 points, 3 points, 9 points in 2 games. Like, the kid is insane. And he doesn't get invited. Like, that's what I mean. Like, Canada's going to be loaded these next couple of years. And like, if we brought in Seneca in, and I'm not obviously, Canada's not going to bring them now. Obviously, they already made their decisions, but just think about how loaded this Team Canada team's going to be these next couple of years. Like,
But are they though?
Yeah,
Like,
I really hope they learned their
literally,
lesson of last year, right? So I hope they did learn their
yeah,
lesson.
But next year, no word of a lie. Porter Martone could be in the NHL. Matthew Schaefer could be in the NHL. Michael Misa could be in the NHL.
Same
They could
Tarek as
lose
well.
their three.
But think about the guys who played for Halinka, Cole Reshny, Cameron Schmidt, Justin Carbonneau, Justin Poirier, Tidjagila possibly next
Yeah.
year, possibly. Like we still have some solid guys in the system. Like I think we're gonna be a-okay. Like Jack Ivankovic. Like if he doesn't start like this year, if he makes the team, if he does make the team, I don't have him making the team, but if he does, gives him the experience. He'll be there next year, probably the starting goaltender. Who knows? But like I said, like Canada's system is looking a far lot better, and obviously, I'm sure they learned their lesson from last year. They're gonna want a vengeance, and I think Canada's gonna go out red hot. Sure, there's some snubs, but this freaking roster is loaded, and I've seen a lot of hate on Luca Pinelli because Dave Cameron, he's the head coach, so and he's the Ottawa boy, and people are saying like, oh, Pinelli doesn't deserve to be there, and I'm like, really? Pinelli's a complete player. He scores goals. His brother was gross too. Both Pinelli brothers were gross. Like, and obviously Francesco's now with Ontario Reign, but Luca Pinelli is a complete player. Like, they're trying to find who's the best that fills their needs. Obviously, I like the best on the best type stuff, but you're gonna need guys not only that can score, but you need the grit. You also need defensive like forwards too. So I think, and again, Dave Cameron's won gold before, so I don't think we should question his mindset here. I think he knows what he's doing. He's done it. He's done it twice, right? I think he's been the coach twice and he won gold. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I know he's won gold. But
I thought
I
this year the
trust his.
coach was supposed to be that UNBC guy, wasn't it?
The UMB, the Gardner
Yeah.
McDougall.
Yeah.
No, he's with the Wildcats, but I think he's just staying with the Wildcats.
He was supposed. I thought that they gave him the job. Like after he won, they said he'd be the coach this year, and then he wasn't.
Probably, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
They probably went with
I didn't
Cameron
see
because he's from
anything.
Ottawa. But bouncing off what Wilbs said, I think they'll be fine next year because of the guys that they do have coming up. But like one point I do want to make is that like the World Juniors is known to be, or it used to be known as the 19-year-olds tournament.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tournament for 19-year-olds, and I don't know if you guys remember this at all, but Valery Brogin, the Russian coach, he was
Yeah.
known for bringing a team of just 19-year-olds. He would
Yeah.
never bring a 17-year-old. The only 17-year-old he ever brought was Yaroslav Askarov, or that I know of was Yaroslav Askarov, who
Yeah.
played 4 years at the World Juniors. Everybody else was either 19 or 18. He would bring maybe 2 or 3 18-year-olds on a team, and the rest was 19.
Yeah.
And they usually did pretty well. So I don't know. I think I think Canada will be fine, but who knows?
Yeah, Dave Cameron's been here before. That's all I gotta say. He's been there before and he's won gold. So I definitely trust it.
I don't know. I get wanting depth players and guys who are complete players, but you're supposed to leave that to your leadership. Like okay, you want a strong third line center and a strong fourth line center. You have that. You have Ryley Height and you have Braden Yeager. Those two, you can ask them to go play hard minutes. They're mature players. You can ask them to go do that, and they'll do it.
I think you're putting Yeager on your second line, and then your fourth line center would be Cataford.
But see, that's where I would have Catton. I would cut in the dough, and I would have Misa there.
He plays in the NCAA.
I know. I like Nadeau. I have him on my team over some of these other guys at camp. I just think the guy who's leading the CHL in scoring is not on this roster. Like, he has to be on the roster.
I think the fact that both of those guys, Nadeau and Matthew Wood, play in the NCAA and they're both top scorers would give them an advantage. And they play against a lot of the guys that are going to be on the USA team that play in the NCAA. So, I mean, I would say there's an advantage there, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I
I have them both on my team based on the guys that are there. But, name just because he's a year younger, but name another guy who was leading the CHL in scoring that wasn't on the team. Yeah. Like in goals. That's just ridiculous that he's not even invited to this camp. Sure, maybe he doesn't make the final roster, fair enough. And again, no offense to a guy like Cataford, but the QMJHL, like I've noted all along, is just a weaker league. So obviously the O has the most representation, then the Dub, then the Q. But it's like, if Misa's leading the OHL, he would dominate the QMJHL, and he would definitely be leading the WHL. So why is he not here? Instead of Ethan Gauthier. Like, I love Ethan Gauthier being a Tampa fan and him being a Tampa prospect. Is he absolutely going to get traded in the next year or two? For sure he is. Tampa's just going to ship him for a guy in the playoffs. But, why is he here versus Misa? Because, I'm all for thinking about next year, too. Get these guys in, and then they can play next year, hopefully, and then maybe even the year after that. And by the time they're 19, they're crazy.
Yeah, I think Ethan Gauthier here just because for the simple fact of Canada being a bilingual province, French and English, I think you just have to invite I think you just have to invite a couple French guys.
Poor guy's a pawn.
And wait, what'd you say?
He's a pawn.
Yeah, pretty much he is a pawn. I think you are. And if you have one French guy on a team and you add another French guy on a team, it becomes instant chemistry. but I doubt Gauthier makes his team.
Yeah, same.
Fun fact.
I have Cataford, though.
Fun fact, someone who could make this team, but obviously it's not happening or will happen, but one guy that is actually still eligible to make the team is Connor Bedard. But obviously he's not making the team.
Yeah.
Nor did he make the Four Nations.
I can't believe people actually think that Bedard's coming back to World Junior. Come on. What does he have to prove?
They didn't let him go last year. They didn't let him come back.
Celebrini's the only person that I could be like, yeah, okay, but I don't think he's gonna come. I honestly don't think.
I don't think the Sharks are gonna let Celebrini go. I heard they're gonna let Will Smith go, but they're an American club. I think they're gonna try and give the advantage to the Americans, let Will Smith go, and keep Celebrini. Say he's too important.
But he is, though.
10 days over Christmas. Go spend 10 days back home in Ottawa.
Yeah, but they play
he's not from Ottawa.
They play 2 or 3 games in that time.
Yeah, so who cares?
Yeah, he scored 14 points.
Celebrini party in Canada, baby.
It's the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, but no, Will Smith, he's down bad in San Jose. When the other night I was watching them play, they took a too many men penalty. And who coach automatically, Will get in the box. When you're the guy who gets sent to the box instead of a fighter or a guy who's not useful on the penalty kill, that just tells you that the coach is valuing you so low as a prospect right now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
To-
it's kind of
I just am trying to think what opportunities Will Smith would have this year if they didn't get Celebrini, that they're just not giving him a chance now that they do have Celebrini.
I think if they didn't get Celebrini this year, he's still at Boston College
Well,
with Ryan.
Possibly.
he's in an even
I think
worse.
he wants to be there.
He's in an even worse spot next year, boys. Like, say San Jose falls bottom 3 and they win a lottery pick, like top 3. There's 3 centers that are projected to go 1, 2, and 3. So what the hell's he could be
Yeah.
the odd man out? Like, either move him to the wing or back your bag, son. You're out of here. If he doesn't, perform
Yeah.
and improve. So
Yeah, you have to take Haggins or a future defensive pairing for San Jose of Dickinson and Schaefer would be
Oh my
Unreal.
god, that would be unreal. That would be nasty. That would
For
be
them to have.
nasty.
So, yeah, there's our Team Canada World Juniors, gents. We'll see how they do. Obviously, we all want them to win gold, but we'll see if they can pull it out. Talking about high picks, though, a trade. David Juracek finally gets out of Columbus with a 5th-round pick to the Minnesota Wild for Damon Hunt, a conditional 2025 first-round pick, a 2027 second, 2026 third, and 2026 fourth. The condition on the pick is it is top 10 protected this year, so if Minnesota somehow falls into the bottom 10 in the standings, that pick will get shifted to 2026. That's the only condition. But what do you guys think of the fresh start for big man David Juracek?
Blockbuster trade for sure. That's how I say it.
I think that's such a good ad for them. If he turns out like having Faber and Juracek Juracek's year 2, so next year he's going to be eligible for an extension. And if he's not playing the best, you can get him at like 3 more years on a super low bridge deal. And then if he turns out of his shell, you have a steal on your hands. Okay, let's go to the New York Rangers today with massive news all the way around. This morning it was noted Jacob Trouba was being held out of the New York Rangers lineup for roster management reasons. Then we found out why. He's traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Ukko Vakanainen and a 2020, was that 5 4th-round pick? 2025? Yeah, 2025 4th-round pick. And then directly after that, the Rangers extend Shesterkin 8 years, $11.5 million AAV directly after trading Trouba away. So what is your guys' thoughts? Let's start with the Trouba trade and kind of how this deterioration and disrespect. I actually took this picture during the Rangers game tonight. All 3 of the last 3 captains in New York have all been traded midseason. Ryan Callahan to the Lightning, 2014. Ryan McDonough to the Lightning, 2018. And now Jacob Trouba to the Ducks. All midseason, all captains, all shift out.
Imagine he got traded to fucking Tampa. All 3 got traded. That would be unreal.
That would be hilarious. Tampa can't afford him though. He's way too much money.
No.
I'd give the New York Rangers an A rating with their trade simply because they were able to dump his entire contract and they didn't have to retain anything. And second of all, he was such a liability. Okay, everybody knows that how much of a liability Jacob Trouba has been ever since his days with the Winnipeg Jets, and now with the Rangers. Like, he is a dirty player, and he's got no remorse for the amount of headhunting that he does out there on the ice. So you know what? I think it's good that he's out of the Big Apple. Him and his family can move to Anaheim, have a nice life there.
Except for they're not.
No?
His wife and son are not moving.
Really?
She's got her own career in New York, and she's not moving.
Shitty. Well, enjoy the beach, Jacob. But, I mean, good for Anaheim.
Oh, he will.
Him and Racco Gudis would be a good pairing. Just fucking built like brick shithouses out there, man. Like, they would just be dummying. But for New York, great. They are finally able to lock down Igor Shesterkin, which is what they've been wanting to do since day 1 of the season starting. So that makes him the highest paid goaltender in NHL history now. Passing Bobrovsky, Carey Price, Rick DiPietro, names like such. So Yeah, you know what? I give the New York Rangers an A trade rating.
I just want to point something out here, fellas. I saw this one of the accounts I follow. Uh, Marcus Antonelli. He's like a journalism student at Merrimack, and he posted earlier that Urho Vakanainen
Yep.
has been a key trade piece in 2 trades for marquee defensemen now. He was a trade piece in the Lindholm trade last year
Oh,
when he got traded to Anaheim
from
for
Boston.
Lindholm,
Yep.
and then now he's getting traded for Trouba. So props to him. He's getting himself to a better team each. No, well, he's on a better team now,
Yeah,
which is
but
good for him.
apparently he's got an ACL injury though.
Yeah, will he play? Probably not.
Probably not. Ray Ferraro was talking about him, saying he's like at most a 6D, basically a 7D. So
Okay, Ray.
yeah, Ray. But man, I'm more interested. Like, look, Trouba, we all knew it was happening. We all knew that Igor Shesterkin was happening, but this is something that I've been saying. I've been talking to Dakota about it. I've been talking to Dallas about it. I'm just going to be blunt. This guy has not earned his fucking money.
Or his captaincy.
No, I'm talking about Shesterkin.
Oh, fair enough. Go for it.
Like,
get the program, but
just I'm trying to be nice to him here. Okay, let's just talk about Carey Price. Okay, Montreal, when they were down bad, no, in a good way. Carey Price in a good way. When Montreal
was always down bad.
Yeah, but when they were down bad, Carey Price stepped up, took over games, dominated games, helped that team win games they should never have won. The New York Rangers have been down bad for weeks. And you know who has not even stepped up to the plate? Shesterkin. He has not bailed them out of games. He has not kept them in games. He has not. To me, I said this to Dakota today. I said this guy has not even earned $8 million in my eyes with the way he's playing this year. He should have signed that $11 million when they threw it to him. Clearly not, because they paid him more. But dude, okay, this stat actually too. So they showed his like player card, right? So he's like 100% as a goaltender. All these good stats, boys. He is 33%, which is bad, in rebound control. Everything else is good. What happens when a goalie starts to get older and he can't move, but he still has horrendous rebound control? He becomes a liability. Wait till he's 4 years older from right now, making $11.5 million a year, and he can't fucking stop a puck. Like,
dude,
and he's gonna have $40 million left.
Dude, the New York Rangers just came out of a slump of an 0-5 record, going pointless, and that was just a telltale sign, or even probably the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, for Jacob Trouba leaving town, and then obviously, yeah, they needed to lock Shesterkin down. That was their main priority. But like, does this money, his contract signing, really improve his game now, heading into the halfway point of the season? Like, we've all seen Pettersson, right? Right,
No.
boys? You've seen Pettersson. He got his big bag, 12 mil. Nowhere. 1 goal in 35 games. Like, so do you boys think Shesterkin is gonna, start to be an NHL MVP caliber goaltender for the rest of the year? Or do you think money is just going to be the talking factor?
Boys, he's 13th in wins, tied with Elvis Merzlikins and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Those are 2 of the worst teams in the NHL. He is tied for wins with those guys. Goals against average, he is, maybe he's higher. I might scroll too far. Where is he? Nope. He is not here? I'm just looking for the Rangers logo, sorry. So apparently he's not even in the top 25 goaltenders in save percentage or in goals against average, which is 2.73, which is Cam Talbot is the worst on this list. Igor Shesterkin is not even on this list. Save percentage, Shesterkin is 17th with 908. Dustin Wolf is a rookie and he is 6th with 918. And somehow,
holy shit,
You're telling me that's just, yes, I know there's underlying numbers, and I know that Shesterkin's a good goaltender. I'm not saying he's not one of the best
Chesty
goaltenders.
has a better save percentage than all 3 Canadian goalies on the Four Nations roster.
Montembeault is 906.
Oh, his went up.
He's below. Yeah.
The other day, Montembeault was a 901. The other guy was a 900, and Hill was like or Binnington was like a .898.
Yeah, they're both not even on here. They're not in the top 25.
Yeah, that also just goes to show how much Russia would dominate.
Yeah, and like, to be fair to him too, like, one place above him is Vasilevsky with .909, and he's at .908, right? Like, so I'm not saying he's a bad goaltender, but I'm saying for the next 8 years he is going to cost $11.5 million a year, and he is not the best player on your team. That's what I'm trying to get across.
New York's next liability.
He's going to be in 4 years. Like, that 33% rebound control, if he can't save rebound, like have good rebound control now, when he can't move laterally and when he is not as fast and not as athletic because he's aging, and all of a sudden he's spitting out horrible rebounds, it is going to look so bad when this comes back. Maybe he proves me wrong. Maybe he becomes the best goalie of the next decade and is absolutely worthy of everything. I haven't seen that from him.
See, here's the problem, though. Okay, players demand too much money for their value, and then the team goes ahead and puts all their eggs in one basket, and it just becomes an absolute atrocious dumpster fire in the long run. Not every time, but it does happen more often than not. And that's kind of how you just fuck over your team. Like, there's some superstars out there that love taking not only a hometown discount, but a team discount because they want to stay there and they want to win. They're not greedy little fucks. But when you got guys demanding 12 plus mil, and you're going to fuck over your team, and your buddy, can't get signed by your team because he's going to become a free agent next season too. Now he's fucked and he's walking and he's like, what the hell, man? And you're like, well, I'm a greedy little fuck. Like, it's just, you have to put the team first, I think, in a lot of sense. And yeah, they just can't be greedy with wanting all this money. And then you're just going to fuck over your team. You can't win because you suck. And then you just don't got the pieces in front of you because you wanted too much damn fucking money. Done rant.
I agree, though, because, like, here's what they were talking about on the broadcast. So this Shesterkin contract, number one, just cost them their captain. Yes, he hasn't been very good this year. Fair enough. But it cost them Trouba. It's going to cost them Ryan Lindgren. Ryan Lindgren's gone. They cannot afford Ryan Lindgren. They're pretty sure he's going to be traded by the trade deadline. It cost them Chris Kreider, who is their longest tenured player, because he's going to be gone. So just for Igor Shesterkin, you lose your captain, your best left-handed defenseman, and your longest tenured Ranger. All for this guy who is not proving that he's your best player. That seems like a steep price to pay. And not only are they losing that, they got no tradable assets for Jacob Trouba. So to trade for someone to fill the cap space to make them competitive, they're going to have to give up more assets. Capo Caco, maybe Alexis Lafreniere, right? Something like that. Like, those are the assets they're going to have to give up. Probably not Laf because he just signed that big deal. But you know what I mean? Like, Caco for sure is gone this year. If they can get a good return for him, they have said that he is gone.
They could also
out there.
They could also shoot themselves in the foot and give away like a 27, 8, 9 first round pick, right? And then, just spoil their future even more because New York, as we know, has been in win now mode for the last decade. But instead of just the good player assets, they could be giving away their good future stock, and it could bite them in the ass down the road. So it's really a volatile situation of, like, what do they want? Are they going to want to win now, or are they going to jeopardize the future, if you will? So I don't know. New York's been really playing the fence on this pretty poorly, I think, with how management has been running things. But the one good thing, though, is that, they got rid of Jacob Trouba. But for fuck all, though. Which, I mean...
Yeah, they had to.
They had to. But for fuck all.
Detroit, Yzerman had to tag a second-round pick to move Wallman in the summer, and somehow the Rangers just got actual assets back for Jacob Trouba. So, doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. I think we're golden. So I just want to say thanks again to everyone for watching and listening. As always, follow us at Gamedaytarps Podcast, all social media. Follow Wilbs at Wilbs Puck, Daeden at Blue Nose Hockey, everywhere, of course, for both those gentlemen. And we'll see you guys in episode 46 of the Gamedaytarps Podcast. Thanks again.